Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 6 of Force the Funny with your host,
Me, Michael George.
as usual. So, this episode, I don't think we're going to have any screen time. This episode, I don't think we're going to have any games or any videos to watch or anything. I think this one's just going to be a nice, short, concise episode with a couple different topics I want to talk about today. And yes, I am wearing the same clothes from the last video. Thank you for noticing. Thanks for watching. Today I want to talk about, recently I've been going through some idea changes, some changes in ideals and opinions on certain things, and I don't even know if I want to talk about it actually. A lot of them are politically minded, and that could be a sensitive subject, and I'm not a politician by any means. I'm not educated in politics very well. I have a base understanding, and I have my feelings about it, and what I believe works. Anyway, we're gonna talk about how skateboarders feel. Not all. I can't speak for all skateboarders, but how some skateboarders and myself feel about the recent skateboarding being in the 2020 Olympics. I'm going to attempt to explain to all of you why Nightwing is far superior to Batman. And then we're going to talk about some stuff that I've recently been craving or things that I've been liking recently. So, let's just jump into it, guys. Okay? Okay, cool. Recently, I don't know, I've been watching a lot of different videos, reading books, doing a lot of different stuff, a lot of changes happening in my life, and it's been changing the way I look at and perceive the world and the way I understand myself too. My political views have recently undergone some changing. I don't know if it's necessarily changing or I'm more understanding of my own feelings about things now, and I'm a little bit more understanding of politics. So I am kind of realizing where I fall on the spectrum of politics, and my opinions on certain things have been changing. It's all mostly political, and I don't really want to turn this show into a political show, and I don't want to necessarily separate my audience and maybe leave out a certain group of people because they don't agree with the way I view politics. But recently, I used to, when I was younger, and I'm still young, but when I was younger, I used to consider myself, I thought I was a liberal Democrat, for sure, like all the way through, Peace and Freedom Party or whatever. And that's been a while. But recently, I've been paying more attention and really getting involved in politics. Not so much like doing things, but just becoming more aware, watching the news every day, and like really kind of honing in on what's going on in the world, right? So, when asked now, I got asked the other day too, how I feel I align. Nowadays, I find myself falling more in the conservative group, more not so much right wing or alt right, whatever that means, whatever alt right and alt left means, whatever. But I tend to find myself feeling agreeing more with conservatives and maybe more right wing people for sure. I don't know what I would say I am. But I would definitely say that I'm finding out that I'm a lot more conservative than I once thought I was. Certain issues that I had felt one way about, I now feel myself feeling another way. And the more I kind of learn about stuff nowadays, the more I kind of learn about what's going on in the world and in politics and in how people behave towards one another, I find myself rethinking my own ideals and where I fall on these spectrums, you know. You know, this day and age, if you really kind of pay attention to the news or what's happening, You would think that we're so divided as a nation. You would think in America, you would think that people are shouting at each other in the streets. And it's just not true. We all tend to get along for the most part. Like I said in my last episode, I had a person recently argue something very emotionally at me and yell at me and get mad because I stated one opinion and then they stated theirs very intensely and aggressively, and I realized that this was going to be one of those situations that is happening a lot now where a left-wing person, a liberal, feels that they know better and that your opinion, if it doesn't agree with them, is wrong, and that you need to be deplatformed, you need to shut up, you have no idea what you're talking about, and blah, 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 and they call you an idiot, and they say names, and it's childish, is what it is. It's like I went back to kindergarten or elementary school, and I said I didn't like peanut butter, so some kid put my head in the toilet. You know what I mean? That's what it feels like now. And then you see the right wingers, the more conservative people nowadays they just want to talk. They just want to have conversations, and they want to really work out ideas. But the left wing wants to hear nothing about it. The left wing doesn't want to hear anybody out. They don't want anybody to have a contrasting opinion than them. And if you're a straight white male, you have no place to speak. And I just can't get behind that anymore. I can't. I used to think I was a liberal. I used to say I was. I used to say I'm a Democrat. I'm a liberal. But I can't align myself like that anymore. These people, I shouldn't say that, but these people that align this way, or say they align this way that you see on the TV or even in life now, they're children. They are children that are kicking and screaming in a grocery store because their parents won't let them have Lucky Charms. That's exactly what they are. They need a fucking Snickers is what they fucking need, alright? These people are just, it's like it's not half, but it's like a good portion of us all of a sudden decided to be children again. I thought we were all adults. Not all, I mean, there's obviously children and teenagers in the world, but I thought we were all adults here. And I thought we could have civil conversations, and I thought that the world worked in a more civil way. But it does not appear to work that way anymore. And it's sad to see that a group that used to be all-inclusive, used to say they loved everybody and they just want everybody to be happy, is now attacking anybody that doesn't agree with them and shouting them down and platforming them and actually legitimately be getting aggressive and violent with people now. It's just sad, and I hope we can move past it, and I hope someday it changes for the better. But for now, it's crazy, man. This climate that we're in at this moment, it's crazy. But like I said just a minute ago, if you just pay attention to the news and you're not actually out there in the world talking to people, you would think that we're all divided. You would think that left and right, and you would think there's lines in the sand everywhere, and the people are shouting at each other in the street corners, and that's not the truth. We all get along. People argue, and people disagree. But for the most part, people out there in the world, especially here in America, we get along. And we're able to coexist happily with each other. And I think that's the most important thing to know. I think that's probably the most important thing to know, is that we're going to be okay. We will. We've been around for this long. We're not going anywhere. We're a baby nation, and we're just kind of learning. And some of us, I'm sorry to say, are a bit more of an infant than others. But it's just the way the world is now. And I guess we just got to live in it. So on a little bit of a lighter note, I want to talk about... So skateboarding was announced to be in the 2020 Olympics, and I know a lot of people have already talked about this and probably touched on this subject, and you've probably heard about it already, but I want to give you a skateboarder's point of view on it. I'm a skateboarder, obviously. Here, I'll prove it. I'll prove it to you. See? Skateboard, dude. Do you even fucking skateboard, bro? People ask me, do you skateboard? Do you even skateboard? Anyway, actually need that. But, I have mixed emotions about this, to be honest. One, my first thought is I think it's really great. And I think it's awesome that skateboarding is getting its recognition that it deserves. That it's a legitimate sport. It's probably one of, if not the hardest thing you could ever do. Okay? And if you don't believe me, and you've never skateboarded before, go buy a skateboard and try to do an ollie or drop in on a half pipe or something. Do it. Go ahead. See how long it takes you to learn how to do it and see how many times you eat shit and don't want to do it anymore. Okay? Before you talk shit about skateboarding easy. It's just a hobby. Shut up. Anyway. I think it's great that skateboarding is getting a certain level of recognition and a certain it's being elevated to a certain level, and I think that's awesome. And it's definitely gonna help us progress too. It's gonna help skateboarding get crazier and crazier. If it as if it wasn't already fucking crazy. If we got little kids doing 360 backflips out of 12-foot bowls. Anyway, but also as a skateboarder, and a lot of skateboarders I know feel this way. I think it detracts from what skateboarding really is. Skateboarding isn't just a sport. It didn't start as just a sport. Okay? Skateboarding is a way to express yourself. Skateboarding is an art form. It's a way to create and mold and have a real and pure freedom. Okay? Everybody skates differently. Everybody interprets skateboarding in their own way. That's why there's so many different companies that look different and act different and do different tricks, and skaters that skate one way and the other way and all this. And it's supposed to be an expression of self, and it's supposed to be freedom. And turning it into a major competition like the Olympics or X Games or Street League, it kind of takes away from what it really is. It takes away from the point, I should say. Because you're going to have kids growing up seeing this and thinking that this is a strictly competition sport. Or thinking that that's what it's all about, that the end goal of skateboarding is to get to the Olympics, is to get to X Games. And that's not at all what it's about. Sure, there's a lot of skateboarders that do that, and there's a lot of really, really great and talented people that will go to the Olympics and represent us and will go to the X and are in the X Games every year. But that's not what it's about. And also as a skateboarder and other skateboarders, we hate seeing people outside of skateboarding take advantage of skateboarding. Okay? Like the Olympics. The Olympic athletes they barely make any money off the Olympics. Besides advertising and sponsorship deals, the Olympics don't pay them very well. Okay? The Olympics makes billions of dollars, and then at the end of the Olympics, they're left over with even more billions of dollars that they pocket. Look into it. It's shady. Okay? And when you let these giant corporations or let these people come in and take a little piece of this thing that we love, the more people we let do this, eventually we're not going to have any pieces left. It's not going to be ours anymore. And I think that scares a lot of skateboarders. And I just don't think it's what it's about, you know? And I just don't think I think it's great this time, but I don't know if I want it to continue, and I don't think it should. I don't think putting skateboarding next to things like curling or whatever, that's not the word for it. Competition-based sports, I think it puts the wrong taste in people's mouths for it, and I don't think it represents it in a positive light. And I don't think that's what skateboarding really is. But I think it's a good way for a lot of younger people to learn about skateboarding and maybe get into it. And it'll for sure progress the sport a lot. And hopefully, one thing I really have just been waiting for my whole life is for people to stop looking at it as a crime, for people to stop kicking skateboarders out of spots and screaming at them and attacking them, and just because we're doing something we love to do. So maybe it'll help with that, maybe not. One thing's for sure, it will get a lot more people into skateboarding. It will expose skateboarding to a lot more people, and that'll be good for the sport. But I don't know about all this corporatization, and there's going to be all these corporate sponsors, and I don't know. I really don't know, but those are my thoughts on it. Those are my thoughts. Now, I want to talk to you guys about something. Oh, God damn it. Alright, hold on. Sorry, I don't know what the fuck that was. Let me take a sip of wine and then we'll continue with the rest of this episode, shall we? By the way, this episode is not brought to you by Michael Pozan Winery from Napa Valley. I am drinking the 2015 Merlot as last episode. So what if these were recorded on the same day? Who cares? Anyway, sip of wine and then we'll continue. Alright, so I don't know how many DC fans we have here, how many comic book fans we have here, but I'm a comic book fan. I'm a nerd. If you can't tell by right here, these are all comic books. Most of them most of them are Nightwing and Batman. And Teen Titans. So, I am here to make a case that Nightwing is better than Batman. That's right. I said it. Nightwing is far superior to Batman. And here's why. 1. Batman is a very angry, loveless, and unforgiving individual. Dick Grayson is a very loving, caring, compassionate individual. Okay. Batman has the tendency to get extremely dark and extremely violent and uncompassionate. Nightwing, on the other hand, likes to keep lighthearted, make jokes while he fights, and for the most part is doing everything for the right reason and a happy reason, a good reason. I'm not detracting from Batman, by the way. I obviously love Batman as well. You can see by these posters right here. So anyway, Nightwing. Okay, here's another reason. Batman had to go out and seek all of his training by himself. He had to do all of his own research, and it took him years and years and years and years and years to build up his repertoire to the point where he could be Batman successfully. Now, Nightwing started as Robin. For those of you that don't know, Nightwing is Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson was the very first Robin. So, Nightwing started as Robin, was trained by Batman. So he didn't have to go out and spend all these years researching and finding all the best. He had the best teacher in the world teaching him. Okay? And then after he was done learning from this guy and became a master of his craft, got fired technically, but left, and then built upon the skills that Batman had already created for him, or had already had. Okay, so Batman basically teaches everything he knows to Dick. Dick goes out and builds on that. So you have an argument there for Dick being better at most things than Batman. He might not be as smart. He might not be as good of a detective, but he's definitely a lot better at fighting. He's a lot better at outmaneuvering his people. He's a lot better at controlling a team and leading a team. He's a lot better at bringing people together. Okay? He's just all around. If you Nightwing is your... You remember, do you guys ever play, like, the 2K games, like the MLB 2K games, and then best example. Here it is, best example in the world. Did you guys ever play backyard baseball? You guys know that one player? What the fuck was his name? The fat kid, the little short fat kid that was just good at everything. He was just down the line, good at everything. And then you had your kid that was like really good at this or really good at that, and then there was that other dude that was just the best at everything. All of his stats were all maxed out. Okay, Batman is the dude that's overall good at everything. Nightwing is the guy that's got maxed out stats. Got it? Got it. All right. Reason number 3. Nightwing gets laid way more often than Batman. Now, I know that doesn't make him a better superhero, but think about it. Who would you be more of a fan of? Fucking old fucking incel Batman over here who gets laid once a fucking blue moon, or Nightwing who's out here fucking all the superhero babes and villain babes. If you guys ever seen Batman and Harley Quinn or whatever, Dick lays down some dick on the Harley Quinn. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that's been a dream of mine since I was a child. Just saying. Don't hate me, babe. I love you. But those are my arguments. I don't think I gotta go any further. I think I've very solidly convinced you. And if you want to argue me on this subject, you are more than welcome to. Leave a comment down below and tell me why you think Batman is better or why you think Nightwing is better. Give an example. Give a comic book issue. We could talk comic books all day long. But I need to move on. Keep it rolling. This is going to be a little bit shorter of an episode than we're used to. This is probably going to land somewhere in the 30-minute zone, maybe a little bit shorter, but that'll be fine. It'll be good for watch time for people because I know people don't like to watch super long videos because apparently America's attention span is short as fuck. Alright. Last and final thing I want to talk about is I've been having a lot of cravings recently. Not food cravings. Yeah, some food cravings, but not bad food cravings. I've been craving a lot of steak. I think my tongue is swelling up. I think my tongue's swelling up. Oh, well. It's all this damn talking. I need to get my wisdom teeth out, too. So that's a problem. But who's got the money for that right now? Anyway. I've been having a lot of cravings recently. And recently, one of my cravings has been whiskey and cigars. I love whiskey and cigars. They're so good. Especially together. Now, recently, by the way, if you guys live in the Bay Area and you need a skateboard, go to, can you see it? You see it? Go to Street Science Skate Shop in Livermore, California on Las Positas Road by Uncle Credit Union. Tell them Michael sent you. Anyway, recently I went out and got some cigars and some stuff, and I want to talk about one. We might do this often now because I've been having a lot more cigars recently. Sorry for all the noise. But so I was watching a YouTuber who shall remain nameless because I don't want people to get mad at me. There's a reason. Anyway, I was watching a YouTuber recently, and he was talking about his favorite affordable mid-range cigars, right? Basically, no, he's talking about his favorite cigar, a favorite affordable cigar. And he brought up this guy. I don't know if it was this guy in particular, but he brought up this brand and their cigars. That's a piece of cedar, by the way, people. In case you don't know, you use cedar to light cigars because it's delicious. I don't know why. Actually, I'm not that well versed in cigars. I actually didn't realize this was in there. Good to know. Now I got a piece of cedar to light my cigars with. I usually use a torch. Well, he was talking about this brand of cigars, and so I trust him, and he recommended them really highly, and so I had to go out and get one, and it's this. It is, I don't know if you can see that. It is a Brick House cigar. That is the company that makes them. And this one is called the Traveler. Now, I smoked this last night. Sat on the front porch and had a nice glass of red wine. And smoked this guy. And I gotta say, he was really good. It was really good, man. Let me tell you, this guy was not too bold, not too in your face. I never got too nicked out on it, never felt shitty. It's just a nice, smooth flavor. really relaxing. And it only took, I think it took me about, this baby took me about an hour and a half. Something like that. Maybe an hour. Something like that. I puff fast. But I've just been craving cigars recently. And so there's one I just had. I bought two actually. I bought the Traveler, which is this guy. It comes in a case, comes with a cedar, probably meant for traveling. I didn't travel with it. I smoked it outside, but delicious nonetheless. Pretty sure this is the standard too. So, I've also been drinking whiskey recently, and as you can see here in the back, right there, I've been having some. I think that's our second bottle. Yeah, I think that's our second bottle. Proper 12. I'm sure most of you guys know what that is by now. It's Conor McGregor's whiskey. It is fucking smooth as hell. I don't think I've had a whiskey that wasn't a like 12 year old or more Scotch that was that goddamn smooth. It is so good. And I love to drink it. I love to drink whiskey straight. I don't really like to mix it. I like to just, get the flavors of the whiskey. So, been drinking a lot of that. Not a lot. Okay, not a lot. Not a lot. But I've been drinking that recently, and I've just been loving it. It's so delicious. But one thing I've really been craving is a really, really good Scotch. I love Scotch. Mostly, what is it? What do I like mostly? Spacesides and Highlands, I think, are my favorites. I like Macallan. I like Glenfiddich and Oban. Those are really good. My personal favorite, not the best I've ever had, but my personal favorite, consistently delicious and a good price, is Macallan 12. Macallan 12, in my opinion, is probably the most consistent, delicious, mid-range, probably not even mid-range, kind of like lower range, but it's about $60 a bottle. So I guess that'd be mid-range, because the Conor McGregor's whiskey is $30 a bottle, so I guess you'd say mid-range. But I've seen some Scotch bottles that are like a few thousands to 20,000 to I've seen some expensive Scotch. But I love it. It's a really, really good Scotch. Always delicious. And it pairs well with almost anything you can throw it with. A steak, a cigar, I'll even have it with a goddamn salad as long as there's meat on the salad. But definitely, I gotta say, probably my number one favorite Scotch. Proper 12 is probably coming up on my is really quickly going up on my list of favorite whiskeys to have. And these brick houses are probably going to be up on my list. I've only had two. I need to have some more and really judge them. But I like these a lot. I'd have to say my favorite cigar, though, is an Andre Fuente Madero Short. It's like this big. It's like maybe 4 inches long. 3 or 4 inches long. It's really small. Maybe the diameter at the top is maybe the diameter of my thumb. At the bottom, it's like the diameter of my pinky. And it's like 20 minutes to get the whole thing. And it's just fucking delicious. The Robusto one, the dark one. So good. I would really recommend, like, in the morning, if you want to have a morning cigar with, like, your coffee or something, I would really recommend that one a lot. It is just so delicious. It's good with dessert, or it's good with, like, dessert, coffee. It's really bold, really bold. So I wouldn't have it with, like, anything sweet or anything, like, calm. I'd have it with something else that is also really fucking bold. So, like, a really strong flavored Scotch, or a whiskey, or even, like, a really dark red wine. You know, like a really punch you in the face red wine. Now, when I smoke cigars, I like to use a crosscut. It's just my preferred method of cutting them. I don't know why. I think it might be because it's the first one I tried, and we all have loves for our firsts. But I like to crosscut, the V-cut. I mean, it's probably my favorite and the most versatile. So you have, I think there's only two kinds of cuts. You have your straight cutter, which is your normal, everybody's seen a straight cutter, cigar cutter, and then you have your V-cuts, which kind of look like this. See how it? You can tell. It cuts it. It literally cuts it in a V. And so this is definitely, it's about half as open as a straight cut. Okay. It's about half of a straight cut. And depending on how far in you cut it too, you can cut it. You can either put the cigar all the way down, or you could have it just a little bit and just have a small slice if you really want to just slow drag, low flavor. That's like if you have a smaller cigar. Or if you find that you're not getting enough with your V-cut, you turn it sideways and you create a cross cut. So now you have one V-cut going one way and a V-cut going the other way. This gives you more air than a regular straight cut, in my opinion. And I like it because it's a little bit more to chew on, so you kind of get a little bit more of the flavor, if you ask me. But that's just my preferred method of cutting it. And my preferred method of lighting is, will it light? Oh, I need to tighten down a screw. Okay, sorry. I got lost in my lighter. Anyway, I like to light with a torch. It just makes it a lot easier. You don't gotta worry about as much. This is my preferred method of doing it. So, there you guys go. There's my cravings. Maybe I'll do a weekly cravings or something. Once a week or whatever. But so there's my cravings that I've been having this week. I don't know what's up with this torch. I don't know, who cares? There's my cravings for the week. There's some things I've really been into. There you go with some of my changing opinions on things. My feelings about skateboarding being in the Olympics, and Nightwing is far superior to Batman. Fight me. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody watching this. Make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not already. Follow us on the iTunes podcast app or the Google Play Store. Leave a review and a rating over there. Give us a like here on YouTube on this video that you're watching, and don't forget to comment and tell me what you think, and tell me if you have any ideas or anything you'd like to see. Sorry, I'm getting a phone call. Anything you'd like to see. I really do appreciate it, and thank you guys for coming up, and thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.